And we is live. So much for an early start, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying about that. Yeah, the idea of starting a bit earlier has obviously gone completely tits up.
To be fair, we are only actually 2 minutes late, which isn't too bad, I think.
Yeah, by your standards, this is early.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we are definitely live. I've just checked it. Now
Good. Right, just turn my volume up a wee bit. Yeah, my daughter was on the computer and she was using the VR thing. I don't know what happened, but it was set to, I don't know, the volume was coming out of some other place, but it's all working now.
Yeah, there we go. When in doubt, blame the daughter.
Hello, Michael.
Right, Mr. L, you're a PC expert.
Well, I don't know about expert, but go on.
Why is it when I turn my PC off now? Is it an SSD drive? Is that the flash drive? I can turn it off. I can do a restart, and it'll boot up within 30 seconds. And then other times I'll do a reboot like I did 2 minutes ago, and it'll sit on that welcome for about a minute. Why is it, even though I've got nothing else plugged in, why is it sometimes it goes in instantly and other times it kind of sits?
How old is your SSD?
That's a good question. I don't know, probably the 5 years old maybe.
Right, that's part of the reason. The other one is if you're doing just a regular reset and you've got all your Windows 10 settings at default, it doesn't actually fully reset. A lot of stuff is still kept in memory, so that then it will boot up or reboot really quickly. But yeah, if you power it down totally and shut it off and everything, then yeah, it's basically restarting again completely from fresh. So it will take a bit longer then.
I see. So what you said, because it's 5 years old, is it because it's on its way out or something, or what?
Oh no, you've got plenty of time yet, but SSDs do slow down over time.
Do they?
Yeah, my one's nowhere near as fast as it used to be. Well, it's because it's the same with all RAM, and because that's all it is. It's basically a load of RAM chips inside a plastic cover. But they all degrade over time, so they do slow down. There's not a lot you can really do about it, but it's still a damn sight faster than using a hard drive, though.
That's interesting. I always thought it would be like, it either works or it doesn't work. I don't think it would degrade.
Well, when they were new and first coming out, yeah, that was one of the things that they used to sell them on, but no, it don't work like that.
Oh, you mean, as they touted with CDs, they were indestructible.
Well, yeah, I remember that old CD business, but with this thing, your boot times are a lot quicker, which to be honest they are, but yeah, they always neglected to mention the fact that they slow down over time.
I didn't know that.
So a PC is just a load of cards junked together with Microsoft shoddy Windows. Other than that, they're fine.
Any of you guys actually use Linux? I've got a few mates who. I've got a mate. He's a computer. He's got his own computer repair business. Obviously, 99% of the computers he fixes are Windows. Yet he swears by Linux. He will not on his own systems. He just runs Linux. You guys dabbled in Linux at all?
Well, I'm a gamer, so I have no real use for Linux. I've used it a few times. I used Red Hat. I don't even know if that is still going, but yeah, I used that a fair few years ago. It was pretty good, but yeah, I can't game on it, so I'll stick with Windows.
Yeah,
I mean, and Android really is an offshoot of Linux, so that's your phone and your GPD XD running on it, and whatever tablet. I mean, even iOS on the Apple stuff is Linux at its base, isn't it?
The Apple. I've barely looked at Apple operating systems, so your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that I was super impressed with when I set up. I had a wee kind of PC repair company. It was all legitimate. I used to kind of go to people's houses and repair PCs at night time, and one of the biggest problems I would have would be where somebody's computer wouldn't start, and then I would say to them, right, I'll take it away, I'll do a fresh format, and they would say, oh, but I've got all my photos and all this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, bloody hell. So I would then have to take the hard disk out and put it into my own machine and all that bollocks. And then one of my mates said to me, why don't you get a Linux boot disk? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just double click, download that, burn it to CD. And I'll tell you, honestly, it blew my mind the fact that you can put a Linux disk into a PC, switch it on, within 30 seconds, you've got a fully fledged running operating system running off a CD, including Wi-Fi and everything. Why can't Windows do that? I mean, it's incredible that it can do that.
So you just reminded me of an amusing story. I'm sorry, the watershed's not gone yet. This is a rude one, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
I've scored already. Don't worry about it. I think Lukozer said a few fucks as well. So
I'm not going to drop any names, but where I used to work with a guy. He was a guy that helped me build my first PC when I first got into building them, and he used to repair them for people. And another guy was having problems with his computer. So this guy said to me, "Goes right, is there anything on there you don't want me to see? Just take it off because I don't want that to come between us." This other guy went, no, there's nothing on there I'm worried about. And it must have been a wind-up, because when he opened the computer up and booted it, it come up to the desktop, there was a picture of this bloke, the owner of the computer, sat there in just his baseball cap having a wank, and the other half of the picture was him doing his wife up the Harris. The other guy came back the next day and he went, I'm fucking scarred for life now. And his other friend just pissed himself laughing. Did not care at all. That is a true story, honestly.
Oh,
so that's not the tone.
Aye. I mean, I had, as Mr. L will testify as well, where you've got your own computer business, what stays in these four walls stays within these four walls. That's the wrong phrase. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But depending on, shall we say, who the owner of said PC was, I would always like to have a wee cheeky look at their photos. And bloody hell, sometimes I'm like, holy moly.
So, there's a comment there you should put up straight away.
Yes. Anyway, you've seen the title. It's just us talking pish as usual. We've got absolutely no agenda at all. I did write down 5 things from the last one, and I think we covered 3 of them. I know you guys have
covered 3 of them. I didn't even think we'd done that many.
Probably not. Who have we got in tonight? We've got a couple of people in so far. Have we got any moderators on this evening? Because I notice Mr. Gage's fanboy seems to be giving me a lot of hassle. Well, I'm saying a lot of hassle. He'll post a couple of offensive posts and then he'll instantly be deleted. I don't know if Colin's in tonight or Kenny's in, Axeman 3D. If not, we'll play it by ear. We can always make one of the other guys a moderator if we have to. Bring them in and sort them out.
Mate Neil, is it Ox? Is it?
Sorry,
I said, isn't that Ox your mate Neil?
Yeah, well, Ox is there as well. Ox, are you planning to hang about all evening? You can let us know. So who have we got in tonight? We've got, according to that, we've got 12 people. We've got Michael. We've got I can never say that, Aero Dion. We've got London Retro Video Games. We've got Robert. We've got Sir Lance. And we've got Ox. And we've got Ox. Right, good stuff. Well, listen, Neil, if that's okay, I'm going to make you a moderator. So any put user in timeout. What is it talking about? I'm clicking in the 3 little buttons. It's giving me the option to either block them or put them in a timeout.
Well, that's not good, is it?
That's not very good.
So basically, what you're saying is you've forgotten how you did it since Sunday.
No, the last time I just clicked on it and there was an option to make them a thing with. Let's call it a moderator. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We can. I'm sure we can. If we see any offensive comments, we can quickly delete them. So yeah, we've got no agenda. If there's anything you want to hear us talking about, anything at all, just stick the comments down below.
Yeah, because we've got a great track record when it comes to reading the comments while we're doing this. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think it's sometimes difficult, especially when I'm doing these things myself. The comments are moving up and down, and it's a bit pointless saying to people you can post a question and we'll answer it. And then if you ignore it, then people are going to go, well, what's the fucking point of saying to them, because no bugger actually looks at them.
Well, as long as we've all got the live comments open in StreamYard, there's 3 sets of eyes on it now.
Yeah, there should be.
They're on the ball, so...
There should be. So, anyway, Pac-Man, apparently he is 40 years old.
Well, he's still younger than me, then. Lucky
yeah. You know, and this is what's scary, is when people make these comparisons where they'll say, like the Battle of the Boyne was nearer to when Pac-Man came out as the time that has passed now. You know, 40 years ago. Bloody hell. That's mental, absolutely mental. Are you guys a Pac-Man fan at all?
Depends on which version.
What do you mean? What version? Like, as in the what do you call it? Miss Pac-Man or the?
Oh no.
Oh right.
If it was the version on the Atari 2600, because you are only the second person I know who. Okay, yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, you're only the second person I know who actually likes the Atari 2600 version of Pac-Man on the first. Yeah, a lot of people always say it's you know, oh no, you know, it's shite, it's dreadful conversion and all this. I thought it was all right. I prefer it to the coin-op.
Yeah, you know, there's a massive part of me. It's the nostalgia. It was apart from the Binatone, what do you call it, TV game thing that I had that my granny bought me. Pac-Man was the first ever kind of game that I got to see on a TV. It was my mate's Atari 2600, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. I sat and played it all night. I mean, what's wrong with it? It plays fine. All right, I think they criticise it because the sprites flicker. You know, and then when you eat a power pill...
That was intentional, though. I mean, it was only the ghosts that flicker, but yeah, that was always the intention from the get-go. So it's not like they're flickering because of bad programming, they're flickering by design.
Yeah. Well, no, they flicker all the time, though, don't they?
Yeah, they change colour once you've eaten the power pill
right,
thing. Yeah, they go from pink to blue.
So why did they flicker? Was that
just to make it look, you know, like a ghostly sort of like effect, I assume.
I didn't realise that, but it doesn't detract from playing the game at all. The only other thing that some people moan about is he only moves left and right. When he's eating up the way or down the way, he still just faces left and right.
Yeah, that don't bother me though. I mean, God, if that's a reason to hate a game, then fucking hell, you're pretty desperate to find a reason there.
Somebody actually, I can't remember who it was, somebody asked me, why don't you do an Arcade Perfect My Arse on Pac-Man since it's like 40 years old? And I was thinking, Christ oh me, that's going to be the longest Arcade Perfect ever.
Yeah.
I've never played the Atari ones, so it's the arcade one for me. I just noticing we've got the Millwall fan club in tonight. Your team's shit. You're not as good as West Ham, and I think West Ham is shit. So make of that what you will, mate.
Yeah. I think that sums them up quite well. Yeah.
But you should. Go and try it. Go and try it, Panther. Try the Atari 2600.
Oh, well, I've got it on my GPD XD, so I'll have a go on that with it.
Yeah, it's always a go-to. It's always a go-to game that anytime I load up an Atari 2600 emulator, you know, whatever I put an emulator on, I have that. It's always a game I always load up just to kind of see how it runs. But it's fine.
I've never done that. Whenever I've used a 2600. I can never remember if it's Beam Rider or Grid Runner, but whichever one of them it is on the 2600, I normally go to that first. Because I love the sound on it.
Well, Beam Rider on the 2600 is fucking great, yeah. So, yes, I'm not surprised if it is that one that's the go-to game.
Sorry, Ox is saying here, surprised that Millwall supporter, he's surprised he can use a computer or a phone, to be honest. Anyway, we'll keep it clean, guys. Nothing too offensive anyway. So, evening, Stephen. How you doing, buddy? Salans is saying here, what was it? Pac-Mania was the first Amiga game I bought, I think. Did I buy that? No, I bought it in Atari ST. What do you guys make of Pac-Mania? Are you a fan of it at all? Or?
I could never get into it. I wasn't a fan.
I can take it or leave it. I had it on the Amiga, but I didn't have a box and instructions, if you know what I mean. And the Amiga version was fairly close to the arcade.
Pretty spot on, yeah. I think you can jump as well, can you? Can you not change?
Yeah.
You can jump. It's changing mid-air, I think, yeah. What about Pac-Land? Yeah, you guys are a fan of Pac-Land.
I couldn't stand Pac-Land.
Why did I think you were say that?
The volume they had that fucking game on in arcade. So as soon as you walked in an arcade, you hear this lovely sound.
The worst sound in just about every South End arcade had it everywhere, and every time you walked into an arcade, you could hear that noise that you got when it gave you the bonus at the end of each level, which absolutely perforates the eardrums, and you heard that every fucking where. Oh, that used to drive you around the bend.
I can't. What is that in Pac-Land you're talking about? Is that when you get to the end and the wee fairy comes with your hat or something like that?
That's it.
I can't remember the noise. I do know the noise at the start. That's really loud. There's a couple other games that were always really loud.
Wonder Boy was always fucking ear-splittingly loud, and that's another shit game as well. So.
Two games one game that really springs to mind, and it's maybe just a drunken haze. I remember going to a student union in Edinburgh back in 1986, and you had an arcade, there was a kind of big arcade thing. And the one game that really just resonated, the sound resonated over every other game, I'd never even heard of it at that point, was Jailbreak.
Oh, fucking
hell. Help! I wasn't save the hostages.
Yeah.
Warren has been captured.
The speech in that game is just horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, Roscoe's saying there. It's interesting. So, but do you think some games deliberately had? I suppose when you think about it, if you go into an arcade and you've got like 50 machines, they're all competing for your money, aren't they? So the louder, I suppose, the better.
Yeah, I mean APB was one that used to vie with Jailbreak for the help sort of sounds. From the Hitchhikers, they were quite loud as well.
Yeah, Graham's saying there, Gauntlet. I remember going to my mate's. I visited him at university, and in the student union they had it was Gauntlet 2, and it just kind of kicks in. It's pretty cool. It's got all the kind of ghosty effects. I always remember that one as well. But one thing that I've noticed, in fact, probably Lukozer, you'll probably not be able to relate to this one quite so much because you don't really have consoles, but see any like Sega game on a sort of modern console, even like PlayStation, the volume, I've always got to turn the volume down. I don't know what it is. Their games are always really, really, really loud compared to other machines. Don't know if that was maybe just a heritage because it was arcades. I'm not sure.
Right. Oh, like I say, I have no idea.
I've got some MP3 files somewhere of arcade sounds. They're about half hour long, so they're looped. And one's like 84, one's 86, one's 88, one's 92 or something like that. And you put one of them on your main cabinet and turn it up loud and then play the game. I'll tell you what, it does work. It's got stereo speakers.
Yeah.
That was it was Arcade Ambience, I think they called it, eh?
Yeah, that's the one, mate, yeah.
Yeah, I got a copy of that years ago when I was still in dial-up, yeah. Adam's saying here, Dragon's Lair was always loud in arcade. Yeah, that was another popular one.
You want to hear it in a 10th floor flat in Thamesmead, like my mate and his brother. Fucking Dragon's Lair. Jesus Christ.
Are you fans of Dragon Lair?
Yeah, I like that.
You were talking about that your mind was blown the first time you loaded up Daphne, I think it was, eh?
Yeah, well, I didn't have Dragon's Lair for it because with that you got to have the official DVD or whatever
No, you
to
haven't.
be able to play it. Oh, okay, you haven't.
Oh no, you haven't.
Oh, okay, right. Well, I've not been able to get hold of a version, so I may have to. Yeah, we'll discuss that later on. Yeah.
What do you mean official DVD? I don't
there was. I think there was a DVD of it that they brought out, and Daphne keeps coming up that you have to have this in order to play it. But then I think it says that about a lot of the games because I'm pretty sure it says that about Astron Belt. But yeah, I play that often enough. Well, my one, the actual like laserdisc image is a bit fucked up. You play it for a few minutes and then it just all starts going haywire, which is annoying because I think that game is fucking brilliant. But that's the one that really blew me away when I first started up Daphne. I downloaded the Daphne emulator purely for Astron Belt. But the fact I also got Cobra Command, which I quite liked, that's another helicopter game you've kept forgetting, by the way.
Never heard of that one.
That's a bit anime for you, isn't it? Cobra Command?
Well, that's, I mean, I can't stand anime. I mean, fucking hell. Well, you look on Daphne there, and it's got Baker's Battle. I mean, that is just utterly horrendous, and that has some of the like most purest anime sections ever. Because there's the scene in that. In the attract mode, where he fits this laser to like this whatever armor it is he's wearing, and he's just standing there, and it's like, how can an animated character overact? And yet, just about every anime I've ever seen, there is always plenty of scenes full of overacting, and this one absolutely excels at it because the main character is overacting big time. He's not even fucking moving. How the fuck did they manage to do that? But yeah, overacting without moving an inch. Yeah, that takes some doing.
Deep breath. Down to 10. Down to 10.
Yeah.
If you watch I watch anime, but I tend to watch it in Japanese with subtitles, and then it's not quite so bad.
Yeah, that's the big problem, the bad dubbing on it. Oh, fucking hell. Well, I like me Gojira films, but with those, I cannot watch them if they're dubbed. I have to watch the original Japanese with subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching a film that's got subs, you have got to pay attention to it. You can't really keep looking away on that. So I've got some that are in English, but it depends who the voice cast are. If it's people like Matt Mercer, Laura Bailey and Travis Williams, basically the cast of Critical Role, they're normally voiced well, but when it's up and coming actors doing it, then yeah, you get exactly what he says, where they're overacting and it's just bollocks. But yeah, on Daphne, you've got an option. You can use the DVD or you can use an MPEG source, and I've got the MPEG sources for it. I've had them for absolute years and they're good quality, so we can talk about that later.
Yeah, nice one.
Have any of you guys tried did that not come out for the Amiga? I think it was, but it wasn't obviously it didn't stream it. It was kind of like hand-drawn cartoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't have Dragon's Lair for the Amiga, but I did have Space Ace.
Was it any good?
What do you think? No.
No, it was 5 seconds, do something, load. 5 seconds, do something, load.
Yeah.
5 seconds, fail, go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Or at least it wasn't die, insert disc 13, insert disc 7, insert disc 1, die.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how many discs it came on, but yeah, there was plenty of discs swapping about.
There you go, Matt's telling us 12 discs.
Oh, I think it was 6 or 7, but I'll go with 12 if you want.
Yeah.
A bit of contention. Lands seems to think it came in 10, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was as many as 10. Yeah, I don't think it went into double figures.
But yeah, never actually tried. I'm talking about overacting. What video game would you say had like the worst kind of voiceovers or acting that you'd seen?
Oh, fucking hell,
games been released for the PlayStation 3 and 4.
What was that, Panther?
I said, how many games It's been released for the PlayStation 3 and 4. You posted them today.
You could name, there are fucking thousands to choose from. Yeah.
I think, have you ever played House of the Dead? Bloody hell. That is up there.
I think the worst one ever for me has got to be the first Resident Evil game on the PlayStation. Who is that? What is that? Where are you? What is this? Who are you? Where's Chris? Where's Claire? Oh, for fuck's sake, get on with it. You can't skip it either.
Aye. I must admit, I've said this loads of times, the PlayStation, especially the early kind of games like Resident Evil. I mean, Resident Evil blew my mind, like everybody when we first saw it was like a horror game. But I could not go back. I couldn't play it now. It's just, it really hasn't aged well at all.
Well, you say that. I put the PlayStation emulator on the other day. I was just capturing some footage for something I'm going to be doing on my channel. And I did a bit of Metal Gear Solid. I did a bit of Tekken 3. And I can't remember what the other game I did a bit of. Probably a racing game or something. And I don't know. Through an emulator where it's been slightly smoothed out a bit, it's not so bad. I mean, the games still play as well as they did. I mean, it weren't a laggy machine by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm. Adam's saying here, Shenmue. Have any of you guys played Shenmue? It's on the Sega Dreamcast.
No, I've never had a Dreamcast.
No, it's actually pretty good. I mean, I think it was one of the last ever games to come out of the Dreamcast. And it's basically, how would you describe it? Yeah, I mean, it was set in the 80s. And you're wandering about. I think you've got to avenge your father's death, if that sounds original, it is.
Yeah, real original stuff there.
Yeah, and I mean, you would love it, Lukozer. It's set in obviously Japan. Well, I was going to say plenty of anime going on, but it's a nice game to actually try. I think there's a crowdfunder or whatever it is for the. I think there was a sequel to it, and then there's a crowdfunder for the third one. But what's interesting about it, you can wander in an arcade. And you can play that arcade Space Harrier and Outrun, which is a nice little touch. But the acting was shit. More wooden than a forest, Adam's saying there. Right, here's a question. I'll let one of you chaps go first.
The original Star Wars Vector game. For me, I can normally do. I can't do it now, but in the proper sit-down cabinet, I think I did about 9 times round once. So that's progressively getting harder. I think it's the second or third level with the towers that I managed to get to once, but that was after a weekend in Clacton on a family holiday, and they had a sit-down cab on the actual caravan or tent. I can't remember if that was a caravan or a tent here, but they actually had a sit-down thing in the clubhouse there. So I chucked lots and lots of 20p's in that one. It might have been 10p's then.
That sounds like some indie band's first album, Weekend in Clacton, eh? Was it as shit as it sounds?
No, not when I was a kid. It was right on the seafront. So it was like get up in the morning, grab the bucket and spade over to the beach, and away you went.
Was it Clacton on Sea? Was it? Yeah.
Hey.
Was it Clacton on Sea?
Yeah, that's the one. Clacton on Sea. Normally, and then my mum and dad got an actual fixed caravan at Point Clear, which is just up the road from Clacton on Sea. So yeah, I had all that when I was growing up, so it was useful. But by the time I was 16, they were going on holiday, and I'd rather start with my mates and then get pissed once they'd fucked off. Sorry, Mum, if you ever watched this. She knows.
It's interesting you're saying that. I mean, I'd completely forgotten all about that. I mean, there was very few places that I got to play arcade games because I didn't live near it until I kind of started, until I became an adult, basically. When I was 17, 18, I could obviously get the bus and go into Edinburgh. But prior to that, I mean, I never ever played arcade games in the chippy because there was always people hanging about, and I was younger than most of them, so I never ever played that. There would be the sports centre had one, and as you say, I mean, the rugby club. My dad was a member of the rugby club, and they always had a couple of arcade cabinets. But yeah, I remember going to camping sites, and they had the kind of the club. It was like bingo or Christ knows, like, I was going to say karaoke, people would go up and sing a talent contest, and they always had like the obligatory Space Invaders machine outside there.
I used to go into there used to be a shop not too far from where I lived, and about halfway between that shop and my mum and dad's house was the school I went to, my senior school. And well, by the fourth and fifth year, I didn't care anymore, so I used to go to the shop and play games. And I used to go in there at the weekends, and that was back in the days when I smoked, and you could smoke in the shop. And the guy that owned the shop, because he trusted us, used to let us have boxes of 10 Bensons on tick and stuff like that. And I think we all were allowed a £10 maximum stake. £10 was only like 75p then. And he had Hyper Sports in there. He had Rygar. He had Grisor at some point. And that's where I completed. That was the first arcade game I completed on 10p. Was Grisor in that shop. He had Trojan.
Trojan,
yeah. So
remember that one?
It's I think it's a Capcom game. It's a walk along beat 'em up sort of thing. Not like Streets of Rage. The sprites look more like Double Dragon, but rather than having a deep playfield, it's on a level and it's up. So it's more like Rolling Thunder kind of setup, and that looks nothing like Rolling Thunder, but the actual being able to jump up and that. And that weren't a bad game. I never got that far into that. I'd played so much of myself into being the last one, I think, to finish Grisor, because all these other guys in there, and there were some older kids in there and some like 18, 19-year-olds that used to play, but we were kind of like a little close-knit group, probably wouldn't talk to each other outside the shop. Once we was in Max, that was it. We was all like, oh yeah, I've got to such and such level, and you had Jeff that used to stand on level 26 of Rygar and just stand there and batter up a massive score before he went on and completed it, because only he could. Yeah, I made quite a lot of friends in there, and obviously I knew Jeff roughly from school because he's 2 years older than me. But that's where I actually got to know him, and his brother was bunking off school and going in Max and playing arcade games all day. But I still passed most of my GCSEs, so make your own mind up.
Always remember, because I only had the very, very odd or occasional game. It was when we were going on holiday. My mum and dad would give me like 20 pence, and that was it. I was absolutely shit at games. And I always remember I went camping with a couple of my mates. We went up to a place called King Goosey up the north of Scotland, up near Aviemore. And this was like there was only one shop, and it was like the grocer store, bakers. I think they probably sold meat. And it was a cafe as well. And it was the first time I saw Ghosts and Goblins. And there was this little kid, and he was standing on a box playing this game. And we went in, and we had like a cup of tea and a roll, whatever. And this little kid was playing this machine, and I'm thinking, well, he must have a lot of money. And then after about half an hour, he basically fucked off. And I looked across, and the game was still playing. And I went across, and all you could see were all these men going right along the bottom of the screen. And I'm like, fucking hell, I couldn't believe it. And obviously the fact that this was the only arcade machine in like 100 miles, this little kid just absolutely nailed it. But that's the first time I'd actually seen somebody who could be, it just blew my mind that somebody could be that good at a game.
Did you ever go on it?
I did die. I think I eventually got pulled off the machine. Like, come on, I wanted to use this. Was like free money, bloody hell.
I thought the shop owners would have chucked you off. This is a local shop, for local people. There's nothing for you here.
What about yourself, Mr. Lukozer? Was there any games that you could kind of what game could you last the longest on?
Well, I don't, because my experiences were a bit different, of course. Growing up in Southend, like while I was at high school, just about every weekend I was down the arcades, and there was like a huge selection of them. So I never really played just one or two games. I was playing all sorts of them. So I never really got to be a specialist and really good at any one particular game. I suppose. I remember I could get pretty far in Aliens, which is not much of a play because it's a bit of a shit game, really. But yeah, I could do pretty well on that. And Space Harrier with 1 credit, I could probably get to about level 12. So yeah, I was okay on that. Gradius maybe, I could often get to, I think it was level 5. It wasn't level 4 the one that didn't have a boss or something. So yeah, I think I can get to about level 5 on Gradius, but yeah, I mean that was about it. Usually I would just keep playing all different ones and just being so at them.
Yeah. See when you guys play, when you play MAME now, I mean, Lukozer, do you play games for fun? Or is it, do you play them purely just for recording, or do you actually sit down and
No,
game?
I don't do them just for recording. Yeah, I'll play them,
Yeah. Do you use continues when you're playing a MAME game?
Sometimes. If I'm doing a recording, then I probably will, but otherwise, no, I don't really bother. I used to do continues a few times back in the day. There was one time I completed Space Harrier. Actually, on that occasion, it wasn't me who was using continues. I had like about 4 or 5 of my mates with us, and they all just wanted to see Space Harrier actually get completed. So they're pouring all these 20p, city P's. I think a couple of them put in £1, which gives you an idea of how bad I was doing, that they were pouring all this money in just and by the time I was on about level 13 or something, I'm like half dead, my arm's killing me. I'll say, look, stop putting fucking money into this thing, I want to get off it. But we did actually eventually get to see it completed. So yeah, I did complete Space Harrier, but yeah, I used to downside more than 1 credit then.
That's impressive. See, one thing that I noticed that it came up, I think I was playing like the Sega Saturn version, and it comes up, is it after the 2nd level or something? Was it like put more money in to see further levels or something? And then it appeared in the main version or an arcade one. I thought, did it actually do that in the arcade one? And it does. It's quite a unusual thing to happen. You get a kind of pop up mid game. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think unusual. I think I can think of a few other words that I would use to describe it. Not a fan.
Aye, it's a bit strange. Why would it pop up with this thing mid arcade game? I'm quite surprised to see that. But yeah, as I says, I mean,
money, ain't they?
Yeah, for myself, I mean, as I say, I hardly played any machines, but the one that kind of sticks in my mind that we were pretty good at was 1942, because I used to play squash with 2 mates, and basically, obviously, 2 were playing squash, and the 3rd guy would be playing 1942, and we always had enough men that, right, it's your turn. The guy that just been beaten, he would come off, take over, and then another person would basically manage to 1 credit would last us for the whole hour. But yeah, that was it. I couldn't say I was particularly good at any game, even now. Probably worse as well. But
well, I'm not averse to using continues if I want to have a look at a game, but I'm normally looking at it from a music and graphic standpoint rather than just trying to get a score. I want to see more of the levels. I mean, if I want to listen to arcade music, I've got Bridge M1 with a front end on my arcade cabinet. But yeah, I mean, when my boys were little and they were into the sort of 2000 to 2003 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they were getting the toys when they were kids, I had the Turtles games in MAME. So I would just load it up with credits. So they were only little, especially my younger one. He would have only been 3 or 4 at the time. So just giving him a gamepad before I had my cabinet. Him just sitting there playing it, just put the credits in. So he enjoyed himself, but he's out of the 2 of them now. He's the one that's got the retro consoles. I think he bought the Super Nintendo Classic. So he's gone that.
Oh, yeah, money, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's 20 now, and he's gone that far back, and he's got a PS3 someone gave him a PS3 that's backwards compatible with PS2 as well, and he's got all sorts of stuff like that, and he started collecting PlayStation 2 games and PlayStation 1 games, stuff that was out either around the time he was born or before. So it hasn't done him any harm having unlimited in time anyway.
What was interesting, I was actually I sold a PS4 the other day there on Gumtree, and I'll tell you what, I couldn't believe just how much. See, the price of consoles at the moment, absolutely gone through the roof.
Well, it's because everyone's stuck indoors and wants something to do. So yeah, the price of consoles are shooting up. It's the same for any console at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I bought this one second hand. It's for my daughter. I paid 145 quid for it, and I put a thing in Gumtree and I thought 120 quid, and then I thought I'll just have a quick look in eBay. No, what they say? They were like still bids like 200 quid. Well, like, edit that, £195, and within about seconds I was getting. I mean, I was absolutely inundated with people wanting to buy it, phoning me, is the PlayStation still there? So yeah, now's the time to sell anything. Do you think it would be the same for like an Xbox 360, or would it just be probably the more current machines, would you imagine?
I'm pretty sure it's the same for all of them.
Maybe now's the time to sell. I'm not quite sure if a disc drive for the Atari 800 would have the same kind of appeal. I don't know.
You got some worth there. I'll tell you, the 8-bit machines have gone silly. I mean, I was lucky when I got my Spectrum for a penny. Ha ha ha. But I did honestly. But a friend of mine, it was Max. He was selling a vinyl record that he'd done. He does some like good electronica, and I quite like his stuff because he's also a record producer and a musician as well as doing the Chipsid show. And he was selling. He said, "I've got a Spectrum 128 plus 2 grey, and this record." He said, "I'll sell the Spectrum for 25 quid, a £5 for the record, and a £5 for postage. Call it 35 quid." And I said to him, "No." I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you 29.99 for the record, 1p for the Spectrum, and a £5 postage." He went, "All right, done." So as far as I'm concerned, I got that Spectrum for a penny, and I still think I overpaid.
He's only kidding. Honestly, he is only kidding. No, he's not.
Well, that's the thing that makes me laugh. I love winding them up. I've got a fucking Spectrum. But that was funny when I put it up in one of the groups that's full of loads of Specky owners and that. A couple of them bit, but a load of them know I'm only mucking about. So it's funny.
Right, Sir Lance is asking, upright cab or sit-down cocktail cab?
Upright.
It depends on the game.
Sorry, I'll go first with that one. I remember, cocktail cabs isn't something that you really... They were never designed for arcades, were they? I think was it pubs, I think it was really, eh?
Oh, that sort of cab. Oh, okay, no, upright.
Yeah.
No question.
I think, yeah, I remember in the rugby club they used to have... And there's there's an arcade game that I played, and for the life of me, I've never, ever been able to find it. I've asked people, and people go, "Oh, is it this? Is it that?" It was like Scramble, but it was underwater. Now, there is one that kind of looks similar, but I just remember I know it's not that. You know how sometimes you might not know what it is, but you always know what it's not, and I know it's not that one.
Well, it's not Excel.
In the Hunt, which came out years later, that was like the precursor to Metal Gear, not Metal Gear Solid. What do you call it? Metal Slug. But it was like Scramble, but it was underwater. If anybody can remember what it is, I would love to know. I have tried to find it going through MAME. Not being able to find it at all. There is one that's similar again, but it's not that one. Anyway,
Chelsea for Life 1988. You fucked up there. Lawn Boys post 1974 is a friend of ours. So yeah, your attempt there has failed miserably.
Yep, Dave's a good lad.
Fucking little shyster.
Dave's a good lad. So this guy obviously doesn't realise that. Dave's a good friend of mine.
What's that?
Ain't Dave's name 1975 anyway, so
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean
One boy's
basically, if you're gonna have a Chelsea badge, And say no more.
Yeah, I think Long Boys Post 1974 is absolutely shit. Long Boys Post 1975, however, is a cracking lad. He's got a brilliant channel. So, yeah.
You'll have to drag him on for one of these talks Pish, son. I've never.
We will, absolutely. We will. We keep, to be fair, it's kind of been both our faults. We keep arranging. See, the thing is, Dave works shifts. He works shifts, so trying to kind of get. I think it's usually kind of Friday night's the best time for him, but just depending on what's going on. But yeah, absolutely. Adam saying in the hunt was Neo Geo. Yeah, it was. It wasn't in the hunt. If anybody can find it, it's like Battle of Atlantis. You know what, Colin? I think that's the one that I thought it might be, and it's not. You know what? There's a good chance that it was probably one of these bootleg things that never saw the light of day. I don't know. Quite possibly. So anyway, yeah, to answer Adam's question, I think it's always going to be an upright cabinet. You need to stand up to really get the full experience. What about yourself, Panther? Upright or sit down?
Upright, mate. Definitely. I'm not a great fan of those little cocktail cabinets. I don't mind like the sitting cabinets, like Afterburner, Outrun, Star Wars, Weckley Man, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I just find even now when I was playing Streets of Rage 4, and I put it on my main cabinet to try out using the arcade stick and having all of this as the controller rather than just this here. It was just so much easier, and of course you can swing your body about, and yeah, always upright for me. I just find it gives you better control over an arcade stick.
Yeah, I mean, I did own a cocktail main cab, which was nice, but it's never going to give you the same experience as the upright one. Right, Lewis is asking which computers or consoles have the worst owners' fans. Bloody hell, that's a controversial one.
Spectrum. I'll tell you why. I'm not just saying that. I've got a Spectrum. We've already established that tonight. My first computer was a Spectrum. When I sold my Spectrum in 1986 and I bought a Commodore 64, there was a lad who was like one of my best mates at school. He didn't talk to me for 2 months. And I find Commodore and Amstrad owners and even Atari owners laugh it off a lot more when there's banter going on, and some of the Spectrum owners seem to take it a bit to heart and haven't quite got the LR. Not all of them. I'm not going to tar them all with the same brush. There's loads that are just like me and you that fuck about, but there are a few that are very, how dare you say that about Sir Clive's machine and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are a few like that, but for me, the Spectrum owners are like the West Ham fans. They can't take the joke.
So Lancelot here has just mentioned Sword M5. Now someone here has a Sword M5, and I keep meaning to ask you, you've got to do a video showing that. I know you haven't got any games for it or anything, but I for one am really keen to see a Sword M5 actually up and running.
Well, stand by for 2 minutes. I'll go and grab the box. You talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, I should have fucking shut up, really, shouldn't I? Normally I have to do a lot more to, drive someone away, but yeah, this time I just mentioned the computer, and there you go.
There's one of us that I say okay occasionally, just so that feels
yeah. Keep the Scottish vibe going there, yeah.
I'll go and put a skirt on.
There we go.
There we go, yeah.
Talking of Scots. Oh.
I didn't know you had a boxed one, because when you showed us it before, it was just the actual computer. I didn't know you had the box as well. That's got to be worth it.
I just interject here and say I haven't got a fucking clue what that is.
That's well, you're too bloody hell. You know what? It's without trying to.
So you got the full. That's got to be worth a fair few quid now. That thing.
Look at that. I paid him 150 quid for it. I mean, what have you got? You've got the user manual. It's all in pretty good nick. We also got the basic manual.
Yeah.
I've got what the hell? Right, what did we say was the worst joystick ever controller? Did we ever agree on that?
Not that I remember, but I have a feeling you're about to show us
I think
a
that's
contender. Oh, the old pad, yes.
Yeah, bloody hell. There's the fire. Is that the fire button? Yeah, there's a fire button. I can't even get it.
Nice going, yeah.
So it's kind of like a gamepad, but it's just a disc. So with that, well, I've actually got 2 controllers for it. I've got a.
So 2 of you can play those games. Nice.
Yeah. I didn't know that the controllers actually came with it. Oh,
There's
so you have got a couple of games there.
Baseball, Zach Bannock. What the hell? Let's see if I can read. Somebody's actually typed over that.
Fucking hell! There's some serious, serious light coming in.
Oh, there was a big lens flare on your camera there. Now I thought it was the top of your head, mate.
Yeah, I've taken my hat off, and there's also, I don't know what that is. Step up cartridge or something.
Fuck knows.
Fuck knows, big.
Anyway, you know what? Now I've said this a few times, but this is a lot smaller than I remember it. Well, wait a minute. What the hell? Christ, I've got. Gatine button.
Never heard of it.
And I've got a basic cartridge as well.
Well, you needed a cartridge for basic. Okay, that I didn't know.
Right, there's, wait a minute. This is a lot smaller than I remember it to be.
It didn't sound good the first time you said it. That's it.
It kind of feels, I'm thinking a Mattel Aquarius.
As good as that?
Yeah. It's a kind of in between the Spectrum and an Aquarius. But I always
thought that those things had like the rubber keys, like the old Specky.
Yeah, it is rubber keys.
Yeah.
They are rubber keys, but they've kind of got the same. Probably, you know what? Yeah, it's a Spectrum. That's kind of. It's probably not much. Have I got a well? There you go. Hang on. There's my Spectrum. Oh, it's got the case. So there's the Spectrum. There's the. You can sort of see. It's not much. I always thought this was full size, but it's not. It's actually pretty small.
Oh, I should have got my GPD and showed it to your Spectrum because they come from the same place.
What's that?
I should have got my GPD and it came from the same place as your Spectrum. A reunion on camera.
Look at that though. It's very, very. It's got a little panel that lifts up. You put the cartridges in.
Oh, that's where they went. Okay, I didn't know that was there.
Yeah. So I'll need to. I think I did do a look at, but I'll need to revisit it. I've done a new look at of the Pandora handheld. I did that. I started that on Saturday, and it ran in 92 minutes. Although I think about 30 minutes was me trying to get the bloody battery working properly.
Oh, that makes a change, yeah.
Right, before we get off the subject we've got highlighted at the moment, I noticed while you were showing that a lot of people were saying Atari, Amstrad, Commodore and all that sort of stuff. I've been in a lot of Facebook groups and I've never joined a Spectrum group, barring one that's closed now anyway because that turned into trouble. There seems to be a lot of trouble and falling out in the Spectrum scene. And that's the main reason. I know we drifted off, but that's the main reason I said Spectrum. My own jokes are my own jokes, but I've seen a lot of trouble, a lot of Facebook groups and admins stepping down and leaving and stuff like that. So that's the actual true answer that I give there. Seeing as there were some honest answers in the chat there, I better answer it probably. That's why I said that, because of the amount of trouble there seems to be in them groups.
Do you think that some people take this hobby too seriously?
Oh yeah. Fuck you know.
I mean, I watched the video. I'm not going to say the channel's name because it's a nice channel, and for anyone thinks I'm talking about Chinny, it's not Chinny Vision. I was watching another channel, and some guy was playing some games, and I think it was a Mega Drive game or something. And someone said, "Oh yeah, I got that game in the Mega Drive collection on my Xbox 360, and this guy, like the channel owner, was like, "Well, you know, it's just not the same on emulation. I'll use real hardware for as long as I can." And I'm like, "Well, if you use real hardware that much, it won't last as long as you want it to." Console emulation is 1-for-1 now. There's no difference. I've had every PlayStation up to the PlayStation 3, and I've played the PlayStation 1 and 2 emulated. If you can emulate a 3D disc-based system as well as they do that now, EPSXE, apart from it having slightly smooth graphics running on an HD telly, I wouldn't be able to tell the fucking difference if you turned all that off. There's no difference between consoles and emulators. The computers are a bit more difficult because you've got keyboards and tape decks and what have you, but for cartridge-based systems, yeah, that's bollocks. They're all the same now.
Yeah, totally agree. I think my answer on that, what computer or console have the worst owner fans, I think it's pretty much, I mean, you're saying there's a lot of falling outs in Spectrum forums. I would say it's not the system, it's just people in general. I mean, some of the nasty comments that I've had, some of them based on Lukozer and myself's videos where we dare to say that this game isn't very good, and people get very, very uppity and they actually get very, very offended that the fact that you're insinuating that a game might not be what they think it is. You know, and you say to them, it's only a bit of fun, it's just my opinion, but bloody hell, you know. I always remember having there's a guy who, I'm not going to say who it is, he watches a lot of my videos, he's a good lad now, but him and I had a bit of a set too, about 3-4 years ago, where I dare to say that Lotus 3 on the Amiga was a fairly shite. And it got quite heated, and to the point I ended up having to kind of remove his comments. But he's back now, and he's a good lad. But you know, yeah, people can get. I don't think I don't think there's any one particular system. You know, I don't really go to forums and such. So I can't really comment too much, but I think you get people who are up their own backside when it comes to any game. You
Absolutely.
know?
I mean, 9 times out of 10, everything I say that's aimed at the Spectrum or aimed at other computers and stuff like that, I'm playing it for laughs, because if I can make at least one person laugh, then I think I'm doing well at life. But just for the record, if I do offend anybody in any way, shape or form, I'd like it on record now that I could not care fucking less. Just so you know.
Right, Chris, you're going to become the most offensive person in these tie-ups. It used to be Mr. L, but you're playing him a close second there.
Well, I'm just being honest. I've got no malicious intent behind it. So you know, take it as you will. I'm not, apart from the trolls we get on here and a bit of banter with people I've spoken to before, I'm not nasty to anyone at all in the comments. I just like poking fun at Spectrums because they get wound up.
These things that we do. Yeah, these things that we do it for a laugh. We're just having a laugh, you know. And I think people take them for what they are. You know what I mean? If you're easily offended, then you better fuck off now. You know what I mean? Anyway, right, we're kind of, none of us are actually paying attention to the questions. I did see a couple. Michael saying there, Sword M5 doorstop. Well, that remains to be seen. That might come to fruition once I actually do my my video. What's Colin saying there? I'd be very surprised if you didn't know Gatang Gatong Lukozer. It's a train on the sliding blocks. Does that mean anything to you?
I was going to say, I hope that means more to you too than it does me. As I'm completely over the head.
Well, I know Colin is a train driver. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Oh, is that the sound effect it makes when it's going along on the rail? Gatang Gatong Gat. I don't know. Colin, you need to expand. We're a bit.
Yeah.
So I've just fired up an arcade emulator on a muted telly. So let's see if I've got that in there. Is it an arcade game?
Wait. Well, Gatang Gatong.
Yeah.
Well, we know it's available for the Sword M5, so
yeah, it's an exclusive.
There you go. Fire up your Sword M5 emulator. I'm sure you got one there.
I haven't actually. I just wondered if it was a remake of an arcade game or something.
Gatang Gatong.
It don't mean shit to me.
I think he's been funny. I don't know. You need to expand Colin, because like I said, we're all too stupid.
Speak for yourself, mate.
Right, best vector graphic arcade game that's not Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars. Asteroid.
All right then. Empire Strikes Back.
You never hear anybody talk about that game. You never, ever hear anyone talk about Empire Strikes Back.
Well, Empire Strikes Back had a bit of a sort of design flaw with the level loadout, especially the first two, because effectively you have to fail the first two levels in order to progress in the game. If you're doing really well on level 1, you're stuck there indefinitely. They have to get the pro droids have to send off the transmission in order for you to then progress to level 2, and then level 2, the Imperial Walkers have to reach the hideout and destroy it in order for you to get to level 3. So it is a bit of a strange sort of design that way.
So it wasn't based on time then. So it's literally the game's broken. If you're
no, it's not broken. It does that by design. It's just quite an unusual choice.
That's interesting. I've never. Have any of you guys actually seen the arcade?
Only through MAME. I never saw the coin-op in Southend.
Well, the coin-op, it was an upgrade to the original Star Wars cabinet, weren't it? Well, just a bit of stuff to stick on the outside of an upgrade.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
As far as I know.
So what were we going for? Were you being? Was that your answer then, Lukozer?
I don't mind it. I mean, asteroids always springs to mind, doesn't it? You know. So it's probably between those two. I mean, very different games, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. Asteroids, I love the purity and the simplicity of the game, and it's got the noise when you shoot is just awesome. It's got this real bassy, and that's not bassy, it's a kind of high pitched thing, isn't it? It's a complete
total opposite. Yeah.
Is it not got a kind of I can't remember.
The old Atari 2600 version had that as well. Here we go. Controversial opinion. I prefer the Atari 2600 version to the coin-op.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I said asteroids to start with, but since I said that, I've remembered Tempest. So.
Well, I was going to say that Tempest was a game that I had no interest in at all until what did I play? Played.
Let me guess. It was a Jeff Minter game.
Yeah, it was. How did you guess that?
Yeah. He seems obsessed with Tempest. I've got one on. Is it Space Giraffe? I think that was a Tempest clone. I've got that on Steam. I can't get into it. I can't get into Tempest at the best of times. So.
They're games. Once you get into they're very zonal games. You know, once you get into it and you get a bit of skill, then it's a fantastic game. I mean, it's kind of Beam Rider. Beam Rider's effectively Tempest, but you know,
Beam Rider's a more simple game, which I think is one of the reasons why I prefer it.
I think the kind of thing that takes a bit of getting used to, it's the same with Gyrus, is if you're using left and right, when it gets so far round, the controls kind of reverse, don't they? And you've got to get off and move it the other way, haven't you?
Yeah, but I mean, there was no getting around that. You know, if you're going to be doing, if you're going to, but I mean, if you're going to be playing a level where you're looping around, then at some point that is going to happen. You know.
But I think the big thing for Tempest is you need the controls. But the game that opened my eyes to just how amazing Tempest is on the PS Vita. Jeff Minter brought out TXK, and there's not many systems. In fact, somebody asked me in my Friday Waffle, we're talking about the Vectrex, saying that you can't emulate a Vectrex, and that's very, very true. But the PS Vita comes very, very close with TXK.
Well, it's the display that the Vectrex had, isn't it? It's not a standard raster display, and Vector graphics just looks so much better because of it.
I'll tell you what, though, I think you did a video on it, Al. That iPad Vectrex emulator. I
Yeah.
tell you what, that's proper close, that one. And there's I've got a PC one that's pretty close as well. I can't remember what it's called now though, but that's not too shabby.
Aye. So have you got the one for the iPad?
No, I haven't got an iPad, mate. But I saw your video of it,
Aye.
and you know, it's pretty fucking good.
It is. It's a good attempt. It's a good attempt. But I think for me, I'd probably have to go for the Asteroids, I think.
Grand Cowy's actually just reminded me of Battlezone. I'd forgotten about that one.
Well,
quite likely you point over that.
I've actually got a list of the the vector graphic games that are on this version of MAME I've got on here. You've got that's a bootleg. So you've got Alpha 1, which is a prototype, Armor Attack, Asteroids Deluxe, Azterac, Barrier, Battlezone, Black Widow, Boxing Bugs, Bradley Trainer, Cosmic Chasm, Delta Race, Demon, Eliminator, Gravitar, Hyperspace, which is a bootleg of Asteroids, Lunar Battle, Lunar Lander, Major Havoc, Meteor, Meteorites, which is another bootleg of Asteroids. It's a lot of Asteroid bootlegs. Omega Race, QB3, Quantum, Red Baron, Rip-Off, Solar Quest, Space Duel, Space Fortress, Space Fury, more Asteroids, Spaceship, Space Wars, Speed Freak, Star Castle, Starhawk, Star Trek, Star Wars, Stellar Castle, Sundance, Tax Scan, Tail Gunner, Tempest Tubes, Empire Strikes Back, Tomcat, Top Gunner, War of the Worlds, Warrior, and Zephyr.
How's the weather, Chris?
we did finally make it through to the end of that list, did we?
Anyway, guys, that's enough. What was the point of that list?
Can you hear that? Can you? I'll turn it up.
What were you reading out there? Was that all the Vector games?
Yeah, that was the list of Vector games that I've got in mind because you were struggling with titles.
Right, okay. Did you mention Black Widow?
Yeah.
Did you? That's a good game. It's kind of like think Robotron.
Actually, I can't remember if you mentioned that. Can you give us the list again?
He's kidding.
I'm tempted. Thanks for that, mate.
Panther, is that a CND sign above you?
No. It's like a ship's wheel.
So it looks like a ship's wheel or something, yeah. Or
most of the other fucking 400 ton of lumber that's spread around my house.
You're back in that pub again, I see here. Right, the Football Channel HD was asking, hi, was there any battles between Sega Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo owners in the UK? I don't think there was any physical battles, but I suppose when you think about it, back then, this is before the internet, the only battles you would have would be kids, pals arguing with each other. That was about it. Playground kind of wars, wouldn't it?
Well, I was at work by then, but as far as I know, it was similar to the Commodore Spectrum Amstrad sort of thing. Just, you know, it went between Sega and Nintendo until Sony come out and showed them who was boss, basically.
Yeah, I think the big thing about people arguing was when you had just bought a computer, you wanted to believe that the money that you'd spent was well spent. And you didn't want your mate telling you that his version of Renegade and the Spectrum was better than the C64 one. And that's probably pretty much where the whole argument stemmed from, I think.
Yeah, it depends how it's done as well. I mean, I had, you know, apart from the chap that didn't talk to me for 3 months, I had other friends that had Spectrums, you know, and there was a lad that lived across the road from me, and he'd come over and play like summer games and that on the 64. And if we was over at his house, he'd put on like Bomb Jack or Batman or Alien 8 or something like that on the Spectrum. And, you know, when we were doing that, he'd pick the games that I couldn't play, and I'd pick the games that he couldn't play. I mean, I think they did have some of the games on the Spectrum, but it weren't all that. So he'd rather come and play at my house. And that's it. I mean, it weren't everybody, but it only takes one or two and then it just gets people going, doesn't it?
Do you know, I think a big thing, I've just thought about that there just now, a big thing for me, I mean, like, I had a C64, my
So
mate.
I'll just see what Fred Blogs has put. Carry on.
My mate had the Spectrum, I had the C64. He would come to my house and we would play multiple games because the two joystick ports would play, Exploding Fists, we would play all the summer games, all the Epix games, Daley Thompson's, no, not Daley Thompson's Decathlon, because that was a fairly shite. The Activision Decathlon. Then we went to his house. I would just sit and read his Crash magazine, or he'd say, "Do you want a shot?" I would, "No, it's all right." And I would never ever play Spectrum. I would just watch him playing it. But what was multiplayer on the Spectrum a thing?
Was what multiplayer, mate?
Was multiplayer games a thing in the Spectrum? I mean, did you have like two people sitting around the keyboard? Was that something that actually?
Well, I played a couple of multiplayer games on the Specky.
Mine had a joystick port, and one of us used the keyboard, one of us had used the joystick. But like for things like Daley Thompson's Decathlon, I mean, I preferred the version on the 64. But the Spectrum version was all right. And we battered a kid next door. He had to send his bloody Spectrum off because we totally concaved around here and an empty going like that. Totally smashed his battery, his fucking Spectrum out to go and get it repaired. But yeah, you could do it. But I think with things like Decathlon, it was like playing Space Invaders down the arcade. You took a turn, they took a turn. So I don't think there was as many as there were on the 64. But then the 64 and the Ataris and that they all came with two joystick ports. Whereas the Spectrum came with no joystick ports to start with until they moved on to the Amstrad models.
Can I tell you, the Atari 800 came with not one, not two, not three, but 4 joystick ports.
There you go. So
it was built for multiplayer. So so Lance, in fact, there's what's Graham saying there. You want to try getting a game you coded, getting his Lukozer review, he doesn't pull punches.
Hey, talking of that, have any of you ever seen this? I'm trying to...
Retro game development.
Yeah, by Derek Morris. What this book is, I bought this. I've not used it yet. I bought it, and what it is, it kind of... I don't want to break copyright, but it gives you a kind of a breakdown of stuff. And what it does is it shows you using the PC application that I need to remember what the fuck it's called, CBM PRG Studio, and you can basically do the whole lot on a PC and then save it out, and it runs, it incorporates a bit of Vice as well, and you can write games on a PC and then port them over to the 64 using these tools, and this book, it basically shows you how to make a shoot 'em up game and another game as well. It's a bit dark over here with this away from the light, but if anyone does want to code like a game for the Commodore 64, that's Retro Game Dev by Derek Morris. I'm not affiliated with him. I just think it's a really good book, and I've yet to use it myself. But I bought it. I think there was a sale on Amazon, and I thought, I'll grab that. And that's someone's interested. It's worth a look.
So you're planning to write a game then?
I was. It's the time, and trying to come up with something original. On the 64, a lot of it's just been done, isn't it? So.
So anyway, Mr. L, have you been? What have you been doing to poor Graham? Have you been?
Actually, his two games have both done quite well on my. In my reviews. The trouble is, the two he's done so far are games that I can't stand because he's done Bombjack and Rygar. So with the case of the Rygar review, like I said last time, I sort of slightly overlook the fact that I can't stand the game because the conversion of it is so good. It really is pixel perfect. until you hear the disc accessing, you would think you are playing the coin-op original. So yeah, you can't help but be impressed with it, even if it's a game that you can't stand. And then with Bomb Jack, again, it wasn't quite arcade perfect, not least because whoever it was who did the music in that version, it wasn't Graham, it was someone else who did it, had the bright idea of including Magnetic Fields Part 2 as some sort of like homage to the Commodore 64 version, rather sort of ignoring the fact that one of the biggest complaints about the Commodore 64 version was, why the fuck is it playing Magnetic Fields Part 2 in this thing, you know? So whoever it was who did the music, they got the elbow when it came to Rygar.
I just want to pick up Steve ZX81 here, and he said, I'm new, and to be honest, now I need to scroll up unless you can put it up on the screen now.
Can you guys click at the comment?
I can't do that, mate.
Yeah, we can't highlight it.
Right, I don't want to go too far down because we've still got some questions that we've kind of missed. Well, where are we? What was it? Who's
Steve ZX81?
Christ, if I go down there, I'll never.
I'll read it out. He's put, I'm new, and to be honest, the Spectrum hate is quite disappointing on here. Yes, I'm a Spectrum owner, but I don't dislike the other systems. Well, all I can say is you clearly haven't listened. I own a Spectrum. Alan owns. How many Spectrums do you own, Al?
I've got about 3. I've got the Spectrum next. I love the Spectrum.
Yeah, Alan loves the Spectrum, and I like the Spectrum. I just take the piss out of it purely for comedy. So don't feel that you've got to run away and leave the channel because we hate Spectrums. We don't. It is just literally playground banter.
Yeah, of course it is. Anybody that says the Spectrum is not a good machine is talking bollocks. They've all got their. So to me, I couldn't give a monkey's toss what the hardware's like. If the game is fun to play, then it gets a thumbs up for me. You know what I mean? Lance is saying here, I think Submarine Sigma is the underwater scramble clone. Right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to load it. I'm not going to load the game up. I'm just going to have a quick look, see if that's the one. Right, yeah, we've got tons and tons. Right, Stephen is calling Lukozer a cheat.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was all about. But...
No, that was to do with Empire Strikes Back, I believe.
Oh, okay, all right.
Awesome.
How did you cheat? Just by staying on level 1 and just ranking up racking up your score without actually progressing in the game?
Just want to say good evening to Leagsy. We've got Ian Hunter, we've got Roscoe, we've got Mad Moments Go, we've got Tony. How did Tony? Graham Steiner, Battlezone Arcade. Yeah, I'm miles down here. I'm tons and tons of questions. Colin was saying here, Lunar Lander was a game that led me to find Mame. I have played Lunar Lander. I've never played it in arcades.
Yeah, I played that in the arcades. They had that down here. I didn't mind it actually. I mean, as far as controls go, it didn't have a hell of a lot of different controls, but they were pretty good. I did like the old sort of like big like handle thing that you used for the thrust control on it. It really did make you feel good, especially when. God, how old had I been when that came out? About 7 or 8 or something. It really did sort of feel like you were in control of a lunar module using that thing. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I did like that one.
Actually, just was talking there, Chris. One of the questions I've got in here is: do you think arcades could ever return? Do you think we could ever go back to the sort of the golden age of video games, the sort of the mid '80s? Do you think if the obvious answer would be,
would be no.
All these machines, they don't exist anymore. But through the wonders of MAME, if they brought out all these cabinets and they just put a PC in it and they had Track and Field and Greenberry and all these ones I've never seen, do you think there would be a demand for it in Blackpool?
What, like opening an arcade with all the old arcade games in it?
What I'm saying is you could have an arcade, you could just have a main cab and just stick some Asteroids livery on the side and just have that machine running Asteroids, then have another one with Track and Field just running track and field, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to know any difference.
Well, we've got one of those. We've got somewhere like that in Southend already. So clearly there is a demand for it. I've never actually been in there. It's called Astro City. It's in the High Street, but yeah, outside it's got all like the original Space Invaders. You know, the design that you had all on the actual cabinet itself. But yeah, I've never been inside there. But yeah, I can imagine it's pretty good. But I know people who have been. Yeah, it's got all the old classics. I don't know if it's original hardware or if it's using main cabs.
Because you would have thought if they're opening a business, there's a big legal area for MAME, especially if you're using Nintendo and Sega games and stuff like that. I don't know how if they'd be able to charge money to do it, because I read that's why a lot of the barcades now, like there's one near me, you pay like £7 to get in, and then everything's on free play, and that's because it's something to do with the taxes from coin operated machines. So that's how they get around it, by just putting everything on free play and charging people.
Well, it's like Arcade Club. I mean, I've been to Arcade Club. If you've is Andy Day that owns, it's his personal collection. He's now got, I think he's got 4 arcade clubs, and they're just like the best. If you think of the best arcade you were ever in the 80s, multiply that by 5 and you're not even closest to how good these are. It's just incredible. You pay £13, that's you in for the full day. Everything's on free play. But I think the thing, I mean, I was down there maybe 6 months ago, and it was busy, but it wasn't like jam-packed busy. And I think the fact that the guys, you could tell that the people that were there were people like our age, and they were taking their kids along to show them what their old dad used to play back in the 80s. And it's quite nice to actually see kids trying to play machines, you know, but kids that have been brought up on the Fortnite trying to play Defender, forget it. It's I don't think the demand would be there. It's, you know, I mean, when I was selling my PlayStation 4, the guy came to the house. We kept her 2 meters apart, I have to say, and he saw my main card. And what's that? Is that a Pac-Man machine? I said, well, it is. I said, plus another 10,000 machines. He went, how does that work? I says, I think called main. I says, just go in, download it. I says, it's completely free. I says, you need to have the ROMs. Has it got Space Invaders? I says, it's got them all. I says, it's got them all. And, you know, it's still a very, very niche kind of hobby, this. And I think, you know, the majority of people still don't know about MAME. I think possibly with the Raspberry Pi and like Retro Pi, that's now kind of bringing sort of emulators across to the masses. But you'd be amazed at how few people actually know, you know, what MAME is. The fact that you can play all these machines. And I think the fact that you can play them in your house for free, would you really want to go to Blackpool and play them? I don't know.
Well, I certainly wouldn't. I'll just go down the road.
Currently, neither would I.
Anyway, let's have a bit of crack on. Probably tons of questions here. Graham Cowboy, battle zone in arcade with binoculars you looked through and had dual sticks. Yeah, that's right. It was like the tank controls, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
And it's a game that probably, I suppose it would work. It would work with an Xbox 360 controller, does it?
What, using the 2 different
analog
sticks? That on the Commodore 64 that had you could use both joystick ports.
Oh, did it really?
I'm sure you could play it like that on there. I might be wrong. You know.
I'm pretty sure they did. I mean, if they could have, you know, when they're okay, it was a crack conversion of Robotron on the 64, but you could configure that to use 2 joysticks. So if they could do it with that, I'm sure they could have, you know, programmed Battlezone to do the same thing.
That's a bit controversial. Fred Blogs is saying Panther is like Spectrum owners are unwashed peasants who can't afford a decent computer. That's probably mod.
Harsh but fair.
What's that?
Harsh but fair.
Nah, not at all. We love all the machines in here. Right, let's think. Here we go. One for Lukozer.
Can you guys think of a scary game on your computers?
Green Beret in the C16 springs to mind. Kenny the wishes.
Fucking yeah. As far as like genuinely scary, no. I can think of a few games that had pretty good sort of like jump scares, but that's a different matter. One being Alien, which I know you're not a fan of. I don't know yet, Panther, if you've had the chance to try it yet. I remember when we were talking about it when we had the Sid in one of the Sid videos. That was one thing actually I forgot to mention about it. The game is 35 years old. To this day, it is still the one game that has guaranteed jump scares every time you play it. Because every time you encounter the alien, you've got no idea where it is, you've got no idea when it's going to attack you, but when it does, you are going to be fucking jumping as soon as it appears. It's because, well, firstly, the graphical representation of it, I think, is actually pretty good, considering it's quite a simple, basic game. But it's also the sound effects it uses. Especially if you've got headphones on, you can't help. You're going to fucking jump.
Have you done a review of it, Lukozer?
Yes. I did have quite a shitty go of it, though, in my review video because I never found the alien once. So you don't get the jump scare anywhere in the vid.
that was lack of alien, that game.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the obvious game for me that had a jump scare, and you're obviously waiting on it, as Rescuing Fractalis.
Oh, when the alien starts, hitting the front of the cockpit.
You pick him up, you hear him running towards, you hear boom, 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 and then you hear the boom, 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 and then it's whether you're going to get a pilot or whether he's going to suddenly appear at the windscreen and start banging his hands on the windscreen. But that was good. But the other one, it's a game that not a lot of folk have kind of heard of, Scarabius. Have any of you guys played it?
I know it. I can't actually remember it though, but I know the title.
It was originally released by Ariola Soft. Do you remember them?
Yeah, the same lot who did Spelunker. Didn't it come out around the same sort of time as that?
Yeah. It's kind of like sort of 3D Monster Maze for the ZX81, which is an absolutely fantastic game. I mean, it's ridiculous when you think of the amount of memory that's running in, but kind of similar to that. You're running about in a maze, and it's got the most amazing atmospheric sound effect. You've got your heart beating. It's got like kind of the music's going, and you can hear your heart beating. And there's one or two jump scares in that, but that's good. What about yourself, Panther? Can you think any scary games in this?
I'll tell you a game I found quite unnerving at the time, and that was Darkseid on the Amiga with all the H.R. Geiger artwork in it.
Oh, that was a weird game.
That was totally fucked up. That game was. Yeah. There was all sorts of bleeding body horror bio things going on in that. I found that quite unnerving. I suppose on the 8-bits, Forbidden Forest would be. I mean, I know it looks pretty poor by today's Resident Evil 8 sort of standards, but with the music and that, Forbidden Forest could be fairly scary. I was just trying to think back to when I had my Spectrum, trying to think if there was anything scary on that. Nothing kind of springs to mind. So I'd say probably Forbidden Forest on the 8-bits and Darkseid on the Amiga.
The one game in the Spectrum that I wouldn't say it's a jump scare, because obviously it was really wee graphics, but you did get a bit of fright, was Zombie, where you've got to wander about. It's a sequel to Ant Attack. You've got to wander about is it Anchester or whatever it's called, and you're looking for these zombies, and because of the style of graphics, you could be walking past a wall you can't see, and suddenly this little bloody zombie just darts out of nowhere and kills you. But it wasn't really a jump scare as such. I can't think of any in the Spectrum offhand. But yeah, good question. How are we doing here? Right.
I'll tell you something I dug out that we was talking about last time. While I remember, we was talking about that last time. So I actually dug
yes.
it, and it's a bit beaten up. I think I've recopied it and put a new label on it. But I've got all the trying to fucking find the camera.
Yeah.
And I've got all the paraphernalia that comes with it, including the Commodore 64 loading instructions and that.
Did the disc version also come with the novel?
I don't know, because this was very much second hand. Come with
okay.
a load of stuff. It says on the box. I'm gonna try and get it in shot. Includes graphics.
Oh, well, there you go. That makes it unique among versions of the Hobbit.
That said include graphic. Is there an S turned round the back of it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's an S. Look.
Is there an S? Ah, right, the S is there. That's fine.
Yeah, include.
If you want my money back if it was a graphic.
Include graphic as sold by Borat. It's nice. Include graphic.
Yeah, Steve's saying there, yeah, I'm new to what's better beat that. As I said, Steve, I hope you're still watching this. There is no hate of any computers. We just do this for a bit of fun. And trust me, although I'm a C64 man, I love my Spectrum as well. You know, absolutely.
No hate for any computers. Not even the Mattel Aquarius.
Yeah, we'll make that as an exception. We'll make that as an exception. What's Colin saying here? I just use Kate. I beg your pardon.
Ding dong. Hello.
No sprites. Right. Is that what you use for doing your coding, Colin? I'm always got a lot of respect for anybody that can code anything. Honestly. Nick, didn't get a lot out of that book myself. A lot of the actual coding is hidden in libraries. Is that referring to the book that you were showing off?
Yeah, because it's not really coding. You're using a bit of software to do the coding for you. It's just it's like a shortcut to making games, really.
Yeah, so I'm just scrolling down here. I hate when it kind of jumps up. Here's a quick question. Ox is asking, anyone remember the pre-MAME single arcade emulators?
Yeah, I had one for Pac-Man.
I can't remember the single arcade. Was there not one called Sparkade? That rings a bell.
I think that was still a multiple one though. What was the other one? Rain and Final Burn and
yeah.
System 16 and System 32. I think they were all in.
Right, yeah, System 16 was for the Capcom, wasn't it?
No, that was Sega. I think Final Burn.
Was it Sega?
Yeah, I think Final Burn did. I don't know. I've been using MAME for so long now. I mean, I'm going back to sort of 22 years.
Right, there's Ox multi-gauntlet emulator.
Just going back to that single arcade one, I didn't have any of those. The only one I've got is, well, it's not really an emulator because it couldn't emulate it for Death Race. The game that came out, it was about 70, 71, something like that. Because the original machine, it didn't actually have a CPU, so MAME can't actually emulate it because it's using completely the wrong sort of like internal setup. So I think it's more of just like a reprogramming of it, and so you can actually just play the game. I was going to do a review of it just so I could cover some of the older games and something other than Space Wars, but I never got around to it.
It was Pong. Pong didn't have any chip in it either, did it?
We didn't have a processor, no. Because that was 72, wasn't it, Pong?
Yeah,
72, really? Was it?
Yeah.
Was it early that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Space Wars was 1967.
Blimey. God, that came out before me. Hey, so I was actually born I was actually born after the computer game got released.
Yeah, there you go. There is a computer. Yeah, there's a computer game that's older than you. There you go.
Yeah, only one mine though.
Yeah, singular. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam saying here, Pong with discrete circuits.
Yeah, and I think that's what Death Race was as well. So I'm assuming a CPU had been invented by then. It's just that these ones didn't. Those games at the time didn't use one.
Yeah. Space War 1967, blimey. Fingers crossed it came out before October, then it will be older than myself.
Sorry, it came out in September, so there you go. You're still. Hang on, no, before. No, hang on, I got the date wrong. Came out in December. There you go. So you're still an old fart.
You've given to me, and then you've just taken away. Yeah. Teletext games were good.
Bamboozle, you mean?
What's that?
Bamboozle, weren't it? The teletext game everyone used to play.
I don't remember that. Hang on a second. Just gonna get a bit of light in. There we go. I'm going my window actually. Let's get a bit warm in here. That's better. So you chaps got anything as then?
We've opened the window up. We're not going to hear bagpipes from the distance, are we?
What's that?
So if you've opened up your window, we're not going to hear bagpipes in the distance, are we?
Yeah.
I used to work with. I've worked with some real idiots. I know I'm a crap myself, but I worked with some real idiots. And me and my brother and another mate. I mean, really, it was cruel because he was a bit simple. But we convinced him that haggis was an actual creature that lived on Ben Nevis.
Oh, fucking hell.
Two long legs one side and two short legs the other side, so it could walk around the mountain without falling down. And we were just mucking about, and then we heard him seriously telling some other bloke about it. He was an agency worker from another country, so he didn't speak very good English. And this lad was trying to tell him and convince him that haggis was a real creature. And this guy was going, no, I don't think so. And he was going, yeah, they told me earlier on. So there's someone out there that thinks haggis are little creatures that run around Ben Nevis.
You'll be telling me Santa Claus doesn't exist next. What the hell? What's Oak saying? There wasn't Super Monaco GP. Right. You know what I was thinking? What are you talking about? I'm thinking of Super Monaco by Sega. No, that was at the very, very early Super Monaco, I think it was, wasn't it?
Fuck no, because I thought he was talking about the Sega one as well. So
I think it's a kind of up and down one, a bit like is it Turbo? I think it was.
No idea.
That's the one that he's referring to. What's Graham saying here? System 16 was original emulator. Remember my jaw dropping at playing Space Harrier. Yeah, tiny computers. But that takes me back a bit.
Yeah, I remember then.
My computer's been giving me grief with its either power supply. I've had 2 hard drives cock up on it now. That one has still got a keyboard from a Time computer on it, because Time and Tiny were the same sort of thing, weren't they?
Yeah.
But a keyboard, it might be a PS2 keyboard. It's one of the best keyboards I've ever used. So as long as I've got a motherboard that's got a PS2 port on it, I keep using it.
It's certainly got to be better than the keyboard I've got. Anyone thinking of getting a Corsair K90 mechanical keyboard? Don't waste your money. I fucking hate mine.
Yeah.
No.
I've just got a cheapo plug-in one actually. I don't know how much. It wasn't a lot of money. I literally once convinced a friend that Bologna is actually an animal you have to hunt and the meat comes from their tails.
Some of the things you get to wind up. I used to go to college in Walthamstow in East London, and there was a shop there on the way to the college. There was a shop you used to see off the bus called Van Haren's, and it was a place that sold white goods like washing machines and what have you. And we convinced some idiot there that was actually where Van Halen the band lived, and it was a front, so no one knew where to find them, and they swallowed that up.
Then I've got a question in here from Lee. Do you think another 2D genre can be invented, or are all formats covered?
Well, that is a good
Well,
question.
I'm sure it probably can be, but fuck knows what it would be.
Yeah, no, well, it'd have to be an indie title as well, because none of the big companies would risk
They won't.
atmosphere of FIFA and Call of Duty, would they?
Yeah, they won't go near 2D anymore. So yeah, it would definitely be an indie one.
Do you think 2D? I mean, I don't know. I suppose. I mean, I've not been in an arcade for years, right enough, but the only arcade games you get in arcades nowadays are the sort of light gun games. If you're lucky, that even then that would be kind of classed as a that'd be classed as a kind of old system. That and bloody Guitar Hero and rhythm games, and that's about it. I mean, why do you think the simple games aren't really viable anymore? Do you think it's because we've now caught up and that we can play them for free, or the fact that kids don't want to play a 2D game when they can play Call of Duty? What do you think it is?
Uh, I mean, you've chosen those music ones, the Guitar Heroes. I absolutely despise those things. So, I mean, no. I think it's maybe sort of a bit behind with the whole modern game things. I just think a good game is a good game, and it will be popular. It's just that people are running out of sort of ideas, and it needs something new and different to sort of inject a bit of life into it. But fuck knows where it's going to come from. I mean, I can't think where.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't so much think arcade games. I mean, they're still pretty big in Japan. They have the rows and rows of candy cabs with the street fighter, the shooters and that. But apart from, I mean, there's still, and considering how far past their lifetime we are, there's still a lot of good games coming out for the C64 and the Spectrum. And I haven't really followed the Amstrad as closely, but I know they had a version of one of the Amiga's pinball games on there, either Pinball Fantasies or Illusions or Dreams.
I think it was Fantasies, yeah.
Have you seen that running on an Amstrad?
I've not seen it running, but I know it came out, yeah.
I've seen Nova, but he's got a video of it. It does look...
That's worth looking at. Chinivision, he done a review of it running on real hardware. That is something else to get that running like that on an Amstrad, and the scrolling smooth. Obviously, you've got the Amstrad's extra colours that it's got over the Specky and the 64. That's really, really impressive. But don't know, you get the occasional new game, but they are indie games. I've got a couple of years old, like Trine and Mark of the Ninja on Steam. But yeah, it is largely 3D is what people want now. It's what sells. I mean, you go to the arcades near me. I mean, I haven't been for a couple of months, obviously, but the arcades near me, they're all fruit machines. I think there's one Virtua Cop, one Time Crisis, and one, I think, House of the Dead 4, and it's all fucking cranes and ticket jobs, so it's just not... I think one place had a couple of pinballs. I don't even know if they're there anymore, because I stopped going in there, because they had one little corner. I think the best game they had, was it Point Blank, the shooting game, and they had the driving and shooting game, Lucky and Wild, and apart from that, it was a couple of pinballs, and the rest was fruit machines and pound a go to win a fake iPhone, or maybe it's a real iPhone on the cranes.
Yeah, I was playing a game on the Xbox One, I think it was, and I think it's out in Steam as well. And I can't for the life of me remember what the hell it's called, but it is the simplest game mechanic that you could really get. It's left to right, and it's a beautiful dark game, and you're basically a silhouette of this little. I assume you're a little kid or this character, and you run left to right, and there's only two colours, black and white.
Oh, is that Limbo?
I think, is it Limbo? No, wait a minute.
One with the big spider legs and that in it.
No, wait a minute. No, is it?
No, I have Limbo, yeah.
No, that Limbo is very, very... I mean, Limbo is beautiful as well. It's not Limbo. Oh, what's it called? it's very, very similar to that, and it's beautiful. It's such a, I can't remember what the hell it's called. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's a beautiful game. And I sat. I mean, I very rarely play the Xbox One. I put it on a couple of weeks ago and thought, play a bit of this. Balls to that. And I put this on. And I just thought it's an astonishing game, but I can't remember. It's Limbo. Limbo's a favourite of mine as well, but it's what's it called? If anybody can remember it, does it's got that exact same kind of look. Inside, that's it. Thank you, Mad Moments Go. It's called Inside. Yeah, it's kind of like I mean, you're trying to kind of. I think you're oppressed. And you're trying to escape. It's a beautiful game. It's really, really, really clever. If you get a chance, have a look at it. I don't know, Chris. I know you're a big Steam fan. I don't know if it's on Steam or not. It's called Inside.
One way to find out.
Check it out. It's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful game, and it's so simple. And you get to a bit where you're thinking, how the bloody hell did I get past this? And then, but it's so every it's usually you've got to pull something or drag something. It's very, very kind of, it's simple, but just trying to get your head around and figure out. But it's a beautiful game. But Limbo as well, that is awesome. But both are very, very similar. But
well, if it's inside, it's not black and white, but it's there's an awful lot of shadows and everything.
Well, maybe that's I'm maybe talking bollocks saying in black and white. So I know Limbo is black and white, I think, but inside it's there's not any real colour as such. I think there's maybe different versions. Well, I suppose grey is a colour, as is black and white are colours. But
you can. People can moan about Nintendo as much as they like about the copyright things they put on channels and stuff like that. And I haven't got one, but both my boys have got a Switch. My brother-in-law's got a Switch that he takes to work when we're there. And Nintendo have never, ever been afraid to innovate. I know there's a Mario Kart for every system, and there's a Mario game, and you've got all the games that they've had on every system ever. But they still put out new stuff that's different. What's the one with the I don't know, you jump in and out of the paint and the blue splats and that's quite
Splatoon.
Splatoon. That's quite a recent game, isn't it?
It's a brilliant game.
Yeah, but it's different to everything else. I mean, if anyone was going to do a 2D genre that would take off and really become mainstream, I think it'd come from Nintendo. As long as they avoided Mario, to do something completely new.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of Nintendo hate, for a lot of YouTubers because, God forbid, they don't like when you put a video out. But yeah, they've always been first to innovate. I mean, you can't see it just up there is my what do you call it? What the hell is it called again? Virtual Boy. That was 3D 20 years ago, and it works. It absolutely works. Then, of course, they brought out they innovated. They basically invented the gamepad that we know and love to this day. Since the SNES pad came out, it's not really changed. The colours of the buttons, the layout, they absolutely nailed it. Then you've got they brought out the, what do you call it, the Wii U with obviously you had the Wii with the movement. Then you had the Wii U with the actual game console, and then the Switch. So they've never ever been afraid to try and innovate, as you say. Plus the 3DS as well. First they come out with a proper kind of handheld.
Yeah, I mean, the 3D is pretty good on them.
It is.
It's more depth than actually coming out at you, but it's really good depth.
It is. Have you tried one, Lukozer? Have you tried a 3DS at all? Have you ever?
Nah, those handheld console things, no, don't interest me.
No, they are good. Well, I tend to put it on just for a wee bit, and then I just turn the 3D effect off. But you can't knock them. Getting back to kind of with 2D being another 2D genre being invented. We're kind of saying how I think the fact that kids nowadays they want fancy graphics, they want 3D games, they want virtual reality, whatever. I always think that these things has kind of not so much killed gaming, but the expectation of what a game is worth because of these, people expect games for free. God forbid somebody puts out a game for £4.99. You think that's ridiculous. And look at some of the shit that we've played over the years when we've been doing our collaboration videos. We were paying £9.99 for the World Cup Carnival, and then somebody's complaining that to pay 99 pence to unlock a game on an iPhone. People just expect games for free. And that's, I mean, Jeff Minter, he never made any money at all on all the games. He brought out about 5 or 6 games on iOS and Android, and he never made any money off them because people just expect, they don't think, why should I pay £4.99 for a game? That's too much.
See, when I had my when I had an iPhone, I dipped out of Apple. At the last one I had was the 4S. I had a 64 gig one because I used to listen to a load of music when I was at work. And when I had that, I bought Super Ox Wars for full price because Jeff Minter does Starfalls. Absolutely superb. But as you say, a lot of people didn't want to pay. I don't think it was as much as $4.99.
Probably not.
A couple of quid, but it's that's a cracking game, Super Ox Wars. But I gave up with Apple. When I wanted to upgrade to the 5S, like 2 years later, I could have got a 16 gigabyte one for a tenner. And I thought, no, I've got a 64 gig phone. I want to fit all my music on it. I want the extra 48 gig on mine, please. Oh, that'll be 290 quid. Yeah, do one. I'm going to get Android and an SD card. And my phone I got at the time, I think with the SD card, come to about 50 quid. So, yeah, that was the end of that for iOS and me.
Yeah. I must admit, I don't really game at all on my on tablets at all. One thing that really annoys me about Apple, and there's quite a lot of things that annoy me about Apple, is the fact that if a developer decides not to pay the 250 quid to keep his apps on the store, they disappear. And Jeff Minter explained that the apps that he brought out, they sold for maybe a couple of months. After a year, nobody's going to buy them, and for him to keep these apps on the store, I think it was something like 250 quid he was going to spend, and he says he would physically not get that money back. And so, because he decided not to put things like Grid Runner, there was Super Ox Wars, there was various other ones. Is it 5 a day? I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. He did put them up for free for Android.
What's that?
He did put them up for free for Android, but they were like not completely finished versions.
Yeah,
but Super Ox Wars works on my phone.
Yeah. I've got them that as well, but. Graham's saying that it's £99. I'm sure Jeff Minter had said it was more than that. I don't know why I've put £99 up in the comment. You can see that. But basically Jeff said, well, I'm not going to spend another £99 because it's £99 that I'm not going to get back. And I completely and absolutely go along with what he's doing. But because he didn't pay that money, it means that I can't. When I got my iPad Pro thing last year, I thought, can't wait to get Grid Runner on it. It's no longer available. Now, surely to God, Apple should have the software on their archives for people like myself who bought them. Fair enough, if Jeff doesn't want to make any money on them, that's fine. But if you've bought and paid for something, you should be able to access that at any point, I would imagine.
When I was trawling through my hard drives the other day, I discovered I've got a drive called Storage, and I've got all my old iPhone apps in that, and I've got ones that were taken off the store. There was one, Gridley or something. It's an arcade game called Gridley.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was it was a version in MAME, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I did that.
And I had another one that was a version of Dropbox, and what you did was you went onto this version on your own Dropbox, you linked it to that, and you could just. I think my Dropbox has still got about 200 SNES ROMs on it, and you could use this Dropbox thing to run a hidden Super Nintendo emulator. So people were getting around it, but I've actually got all the apps that used to be on my phone backed up as I don't know what file they are. They're APK files on Android, so whatever they are. I've still got them all. So all the ones that are taken off the store, I've still got, and I think I can drag them and drop them into iTunes and still use them. But I think, I'm not sure. So if you've ever backed up one of your old iOS devices and you've still got the files, you may have them apps around somewhere still.
That's interesting. I used to back up all my apps, but can you still put an app across using, is it iTunes or something? Is it?
Yeah, I think you still can.
Well, I used to have them all backed up, but not had them for a long time. But guys, Lukozer, I was watching your you did a collab video of Elite Dangerous with one of your buddies, and I've got to say that it was a bit where you're like shooting this kind of like mothership thing. It was like a kind of plant or something, was it?
Oh, the Thargoid. Yeah, it's a Thargoid interceptor.
I've got to say, I think I put a comment actually. The sound and the graphics are just phenomenal in that game.
Yeah, I mean, visually, yeah, it is pretty good, and for the most part, it's the same with the audio. It's the bugs in it are the biggest sort of problem with the thing, and I mean, some of the bugs that affect it have been around for 4 or 5 years, and they are never going to be fixed. You could sort of overlook it if they were, something fairly, minor, but a lot of the time they're not. But yeah, attacking that Thargoid interceptor, yeah, it's a lot more difficult than it was back in the original Elite days when you were just, slap on your military lasers and deal with Thargoids no problem. Yeah, you need to do a lot more to take those out. The original sort of like Thargoid types are still in it, but yeah, they're now Thargoid scouts and they are piss easy. But yeah, the interceptors are a whole different matter.
But I thought the sound in the game in particular was, especially that bit where you were trying to kill that. It looked like a large kind of plant or something out of Little Shopy Horrors.
Yeah, that was a Cyclops, yes. Actually, the Cyclops isn't too bad, but there are 3 others after it. The Basilisk is the second most difficult. Then you go for the Medusa, and then the most difficult one is the Hydra. No, I can't even take on a Basilisk. They just keep fucking slaughtering me. So, yeah, the other 2, forget it.
Well, as I mentioned, I've bought the Oculus Quest. Now, my PC, you can use that to run VR stuff on the PC, but my PC is not. I tried to load a couple of things and it was like 1 frame per second, and it comes up your PC is not powerful enough to run it. But my daughter was playing a thing earlier on today, and she did a Google, and basically there was a thing, if you do Control-Alt-Delete, you go into Task Manager, and then you go to the, whatever it was, I can't remember, virtual chat or something, and you go to details, and it's like priority, and it's set to normal, and if you give it high priority, well, you can see the difference it made. It was like it went from being unplayable to actually looking really, really good. So I'm tempted to dig out my Elite Dangerous and see if I can play it with the VR thing on it. Is it quite a sort of processor intensive game?
Yes.
Yeah, it's well, GPU. Actually, GPU it's not quite so bad because I mean I know plenty of people who are running it just using like on-chip graphics. So yeah, graphics wise it's okay, but yeah, processor wise it does go through quite a bit. The thing that really doesn't help is the fact that it is permanently online. Everything you do has to go through their servers.
So do they still bring updates for it?
Oh yeah, there's one coming out next month. The beta for it ended today. Actually, I was just going to ask Erodian Thorn, did you actually try the beta 2 of the next update? I loaded it up once and just gave it a quick go. But it wasn't that much different to beta 1 for me, so I only tried it the once. I was meant to do a video of it, and I just never bothered. But Yeah, the next update is bringing in the fleet carrier ships, so that's the big one for that. And then there's going to be another paid for expansion to it. It was originally going to be the end of this year, but they've now delayed it, like they delay every update. So it's going to be, I suspect, it won't be until the end of Q1 next year.
Personally, I'm not interested in Elite Dangerous. I'm just waiting for Star Citizen. I'm going to play that when it comes out.
You're going to be you're going to have a long fucking wait. I tell you, that game is never coming out. No, I just don't no, I'm not going to rise to it. I've done enough ranting about Star Citizen in the Elite Dangerous videos, but yeah.
Al, your Oculus thing, can you use that on the Xbox One?
I don't know. How good are?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Could you?
I don't. Not that I'm aware of.
It's just a PC, really, isn't it? It's only a mate of mine plays Elite Dangerous on Xbox, so I was just wondering if your computer's a bit slow for it. The Xbox One might have the power to play some of the games you want.
But does the Xbox One, does that support 3D games? Does that?
Well,
yeah. There's, I'm sure there's a VR thing for Xbox One.
Is there? I'll need to have a look in. I'll need to look into that, actually.
Perhaps one of the viewers can say, can you use VR on Xbox One, guys? I mean, I don't know. I just know he plays Elite Dangerous on it. He's not using VR as far as I know, but...
Well, there's VR on the PS4, so I'm assuming if it's available for PS4, surely it's available for Xbox One as well.
I think so.
Interesting to know that. I mean, technically, I'm not supposed to be able to use that, but they've now... No, there's Adam saying no VR, on,
VR on
Xbox, as far as I know. Yes, I can just plug it into the PC and I can sort of use it. But I can stream my all 3,000 films that I've got in Plex across to the VR, so I'm a happy bunny.
The only thing that gets me about Elite Dangerous is I wish it had a free roam mode on it, so I could play Grand Theft Auto in space and just piss about. Because sometimes I don't want to do this mission. I keep watching my fuel. It'd just be nice to fly about and be an arsehole, just for a few hours.
There are ways that you can do that if you have the right ship.
Yeah, right.
Because there are a few people out there who do.
Yeah, but I don't mean online. I mean just playing by myself.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can start it in solo mode, but the problem is, if you even doing that, playing the game in solo mode, you still got to be connected to their online servers. The whole thing goes through the servers. Every time you hyperspace to another system, that like hyperspace bit that you see, all the clouds rushing to it, that's a loading screen. It's connecting you to the next part, the part of the server that has that particular system you're going to. So, yeah, when it was in like the Kickstart project and that, it was touted that it was going to have a fully offline solo mode for it, but when it had been in development for quite a while, and it was during the beta 1 that I was in, they then announced, oh no, the game, the offline mode has been cancelled. But you look at the way the game's been coded, I don't think the offline mode I don't think it ever existed. The way the game is put together, it was designed from the get-go to be entirely online.
Yeah, I think what you put up there from Steve. I mean, I think it does feel like Elite, the actual combat and the flying about part of it. Apart from the fact you can't really speed up, and some of the jumps I've had to do when I did play it. I mean, I bought it the year before last, I think, when it was like dropped down to half price, and I thought, well, I'll grab it. And one of the things I do, I had to sit there and fly in real space for something like 45 minutes, and it's like I ain't got time for that. I want a walk mode. I don't want to have a mega fast ship. I just want the game to speed up. You go 10 times speed or whatever.
That sounds like you were in Alpha Centauri.
I have no idea where
I this is going years back. I didn't know anything about it, and I took some mission which meant I had to go to the Alpha Centauri system, and the actual docking station you have to go to is the distance is measured in light years, and it takes about 3/4 of an hour to get there. And all you're doing is just sitting there watching it. Not very interesting.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, I've got a question for that I was going to bring up tonight to see what I wonder what you lot thought. Maybe more towards Alan than Chris. What do you actually think of people that do what I do, where I'll refurb an old system and make it look brand new again, or do you think they should be left with their patina and stuff like that?
Personally, I would love to have somebody give me a brand new looking, non-aged sort of C64, but I've not got the patience or the inclination. I'm just too damn lazy to actually do it. The aging part of it, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I think you put a picture of your the one that you retro-brighted, if that's a word, recently. And Chris, Lukozer, you said, I don't remember my original looking like that, and I don't remember it either. It's like somebody who you know growing up, they don't look like they've got any older, and it's the same for something like that. It doesn't bother me. What's that?
Do you want me to share a picture?
Aye, go for it. If you can, stick it up. I've
got a couple that I've done next. I thought I'd ask this question.
I mean, from a personal point of view, it doesn't really add anything to me. I mean, there's some people like. Hang on, I'll just share that.
I think it's.
That's the one. That's the one that was
hang on. I'll just remove Steve's comment for a wee bit. There we go.
It's a bit like, I suppose, the old antiques, and do you restore it or do you leave them as they are? But I think with computers, especially from this era, in fact, actually, with all technology, I like technology to look as if it is brand new. So I quite like the whole, restoration thing and get it looking, as good as it can, rather than leaving it in its old and yellowing sort of state. I mean, especially you look at some of the old Amigas and Commodore 128, they look fucking horrible when they've been left to all go yellow and everything. So something like that, I consider it almost a necessity. If it's technological, I like it to look as new as it possibly can. So something like this.
Well, that was one of the ones I had that was loads of different bits. I bought some cases that my mate was selling cheap, and I had a spare board, and I had all these bits lying around, and I thought I'd make one out of all of them, and I did that with it in the end. That's what it looks like now. That one.
That looks beautiful. I think. Can you go back to the picture where you had the two of them side by side, or one at the top, one at the bottom? It was 2 pictures ago. Yeah, that one there. Actually, the top one looks like the one I've got, but that's actually more kind of Vic 20 looking, isn't it?
Well, the Vic 20 was much the actual bread bin part was much lighter, wasn't it? It was almost white.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, total respect. I mean, if you wanted to give me that one that you've retro-brighted, I would say thanks very much. You're awful. You're very, very generous. But for me personally, it doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, they're both C64s. As long as they can play the games, and I'm quite happy.
Yeah, so that one there, see, with the 64C, that looks like it had been one that I had owned. It looks like a fucking 40-a-day smoker has been using it. So with that, it absolutely needs it.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say that it can ruin the. I've got another picture to show you actually.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's all right. Say that it can ruin the plastics, and they go yellow again. And I fully expect it to go yellow again, but that one there, that's the one that you normally see on the videos. That picture was taken 2 weeks ago when I got my new power supply for it, and that Commodore 64C, I retro brighted that one around February, March 2018. So that still looks like that nearly 2.5 years later.
So,
so
yeah.
maybe it'll go yellow again, maybe it won't, but so far it hasn't changed yet.
Mm-hmm. No, it's, as I say, a complete respect to people that actually have the time and patience to do that. I say it doesn't really bother me personally, but you know, I'd obviously much rather have one that looks brand new than one that's quite old. Listen, guys, we're going to have to kind of call it a day. We're kind of overshot by 10 minutes. We've got one. I'll just conclude the last question that I think it was Ox was asking. Just a quick one. Aero Dion, you mentioned you've still got the IPA files for Jeff Minter's games. You mentioned that they won't run on a modern iPad, but I've got an iPad 2 and an iPad 3. I'm assuming they're running that. If there's any way of me maybe getting a little sneaky copy off them, I did buy them honest. I would be very, very appreciate it. Let me have a quick look. I'm sure it was Ox that had a question. I thought we'd better just get that last one in. Can anyone see the question from Ox?
What question was it?
Oh, God. There we go. Yeah, I think we'll make this the last one. I'm not actually aware of this one. Your opinion?
No, I saw that and I just thought, well, I've never heard of it.
No, so none of us. Your opinions on the C64 Kickstarter Unknown Realm? Massive scam or naive project starters? I'm not aware of that one at all, Neil.
I mean, who's behind it, first of all? Because, I mean, I know the guys behind the Commodore stories. It's Stephen Fletcher. They did a successful Kickstarter for a space shoot-em-up game, and as far as I know, that's either out or it's coming out. I know at one of the recent shows, recent shows, last year, there was a video of it running in its early stages, so, you know, it's definitely happening. So it depends. I mean, the Zap annuals have been successful. Obviously, like last year, page 66 was pretty good. But yeah, they normally do it. So it depends. There's for the Spectrum. I'm not sure about the Amstrad, because even though I've got one, I haven't really dipped into that world too much. But for the Commodore 64 and to a certain extent the Spectrum, there's still a massive audience and user base for them that are lapping up these Crash and Zap albums and stuff, annuals and stuff like that. And, you know, there's people download the SID albums that I put out. It seems to be a big thing still. Well, all right, it's not what it was in 1986, obviously, but you consider 34 years down the line that people are still making games for this. There's got to be an audience.
Yeah. I think it's just a shame. I mean, probably one of the most well-known scammer things in the sort of retro circles was the Spectrum Vega 2.
Oh, the Vega Plus, the handheld thing.
Plus, yeah, they took... it was something... It was almost like £250,000, and I think a handful of people got some real shitty prototypes, and I think that's disgusting. I can't believe that people can get away with that, you know. But it's the same like the Spectrum Next. The minute I knew Jim Bagley was involved, I thought, I'm in for that, because, you know, Jim's a good lad, and at the end of the day, one person doesn't make a break, I think. But I think, it's, as you say, if you kind of know the people behind it, then there's always a bit of... well,
that's it. I mean, with the Vega Plus thing, I mean, I know Paul Andrews from Retro Games that did the 64 and the C64 Mini. I know that he was involved with that to start with, but him and this other guy left because they didn't want no more of it. When it looked like it was going to be all the money was being pissed up the wall, and his name still gets dragged into it, even though he had nothing to do with the final product. And if you look at the Mini and the C64 successful products, they both came out. So that doesn't make Paul a scammer. I know he upset a few people with Horace and that, but there was a lot more to that than what the internet saw as well. There's always another side to the story, but with the Vega Plus, the side to the story was they fucking ripped people off.
Yeah.
I don't think this particular Kickstarter project could possibly be as bad as Star Citizen, though. That for me is the massive scam to end all scams. You know, they have taken in over $350 million. How much do you fucking need to make one game?
You make two Terminator 2s with that money.
You could make the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy and still have something like about 50 million left over. It is ludicrous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd never even heard of the game until one of my mates mentioned it to me, and I started watching a few videos on YouTube, and they're like this sort of modern day Imagine software. They have these big forums where there's like a live audience, and people are saying, "Can you tell me, is the ship such and such going to feature such and such a thing?" And we'll put that question to him, and they're all so professional, and yet chances are you're never going to get to play the game.
The problem is also the supporters. They're quite happy to let it carry on and on and on like this. 'Cause at the moment, he has no incentive to release it.
Yeah.
He's stringing all of these people along, and they are all quite happy to be strung along. And they're going to all of these conventions, and they're going on the forums saying the game's fucking brilliant and all this. It's still in alpha. It's been in an alpha stage now for about 8 years. You know, so why on earth would he publish it and end all of this? You know, so he's just going to quite happily just keep going with it, and
absolutely disgusting, isn't it? It really is. It is. Anyway, listen, on that bombshell, I think we better wind this video off. So, yeah, just I apologies again. I think there's still quite a few questions down there. Just want to really thank everybody for joining us, three numpties again, for another fun video. And we do love the Spectrum, honest. Even Panther, you love it. I mean, you wouldn't have bought one, would you?
Well, it's only a penny, so
yeah.
But seriously, we love games, and like I said, there's always a bit of tongue in cheek about some of the stuff we talk about. But listen, guys, thank you very, very much for joining us this evening, and finally, thanks very much to the two Chris's for joining me once again.
No problem,
and hopefully we'll maybe pull together a SID show in the next couple of weeks if you guys want it. So, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.
See you later.